Well, hello gorgeous people. I am back with my second installment of skincare, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the things that I do, external body things. That sounds a bit weird. Things I do externally to my body and face that don't include products. So there's quite a few little things that I do. You might do some of them, you might not have heard of some, you might be interested in some. These are just things that I find works for me and have made a real difference to the condition of my skin. Okay, so one of the things you might be doing is the good old Jade Roller. These come in different types of crystals or stones and have different properties to them. And I bought the jade one, actually my daughter gave it to me maybe about a year ago. And of course there are loads and loads of techniques that you can look up on YouTube. And same with the gua sha. So I wasn't sure which one to go for at first. I think I went with this one just because everybody was doing it, you know. And I used it for about 9 months and I liked it, but after seeing Trini Woodall use these and just seeing the difference in terms of how her skin flushed, I don't know, I wanted to try it, and so I got the rose quartz one. Again, you can get them from lots of different places. I'll put links in the notes below where mine are from, but I'm not plugging any particular brands. And I actually really do love this because it really gets the lymph nodes drained, it gets the skin flushed and vibrant. I just love the shape of it, how I can go down my neck. This just feels a little, I don't know, it just doesn't do quite as much. It's a good massager, and in fact it feels incredible across your brows, going back and forth. So look, I recommend both. You could give them both a try, and they're not expensive, and you could see what works for you, but I highly recommend them. And on that note, people that I do follow, Trini has been one of them for probably the last 2 or 3 decades, and I just love what she's doing for skincare and health, and I've learned a lot of things through her. So that's Trini Woodall. The other person I think is absolutely amazing is Caroline Hirons, and she's a skin specialist and expert. There's also a fabulous young fellow on YouTube called Hiram, and I will link to him as well. And he is just an absolute genius. And then a lovely new girl that I've started following, this young girl, and she tests out different products and is using reels and is really hip and cool. And I've even learned stuff from her, and I'm changing up my routine. One of the things that I am changing is that I'm going to start using a toner again, even in the morning. And I haven't used a toner really since, gosh, the 90s. Anyway, so those are the people that I recommend that you follow. Now, another great thing, of course, to get the blood flowing, not necessarily on your face, but most certainly on your face, just lightly with your fingers, is of course tapping. And this is a skin tapping tool that I bought, and I use it on my body. It's fantastic for muscle release and tone. And of course, when we tone our muscles, our skin responds accordingly. It's also great for bringing up the blood flow to the skin. I use it on my feet and lower legs. It's incredible. I use it all the way up my legs. Again, just YouTube it. There are wonderful tutorials on how to do these things. I use it on my back. I use it on my head. Oh, it's just, oh my God, that's just heaven. You can use it on your hands, and there are plenty again of tapping techniques on YouTube that you can learn about. And it's little things like, for example, when I was having a period there where I had quite deep bags under my eyes, there's a wonderful Korean girl, again I'll link to her, who teaches you how to actually tap and drain the puffing bags around your eyes, and little circle motions and things like that. So these are all ancient techniques that, you know, circulate around acupressure and acupuncture. The other great thing that I've been learning more about is face yoga, and there are again plenty of people doing that, and I absolutely love it. There are some techniques that you can do. Trini does one called AEIOU, and it's a daily practice where you stretch the under section of your chin here, the throat where we start to sag, and you help tone those muscles and lift them. And I've noticed a difference here in the lift on my face. Yet to notice much difference here, but I've only really just started. And of course you can do the entire face, and yoga for your face is just as good as yoga for your body. And on that note, that's another thing I do frequently and have done for 35 years is yoga. And I go through periods where I do more of it and less of it. Same with meditation. But I find that my skin is totally different when I'm practicing yoga quite a lot. It really is. And it's also, of course, a de-stressor, and our skin being the largest organ and being so responsive to stress, meditating and yoga and walking and exercising, of course, is a brilliant, brilliant way to keep your skin in great condition and minimize that stress. I don't know if you're into this. I don't care if you don't believe it, but I certainly do. I am not a whack job and I don't wear a tinfoil hat, but I do believe that electromagnetic stress is really difficult for our bodies and causes a lot of issues, health issues, but also skin issues. So I use an electromagnetic frequency pendant. It's just like a little white crystal. I actually have it tucked into my bra. I will show you. It's just like a little crystal. It's actually broken. My daughter used it and dropped it, but doesn't matter. It still works. So I've just put it, glued it together, and I wear it in my bra. I also have a little volcanic rock one on my wrist. You can get these on many different types of websites, and what they do is they just help the body deflect the electromagnetic stress we get from our Wi-Fi and from our working on devices and working in front of computers. Another thing which you probably already do, or at least I hope you do, is the blue light glasses that just help deflect that terrible light that emits from all the devices we're using. And I find that that really helps my eyes, it helps my eyesight, it helps with stress on the eye, and absolutely love it. It's a must. And of course you can set your devices to nighttime, can't you? All right, now another thing that I've just started doing, my daughter wanted to try it and so I got one as well, is dry brushing. I used to do this in the 80s. So of course you brush up from your legs, and it helps with circulation and with cellulite and all sorts of things. But it just really stimulates the skin, massages the skin with these little baubles here, and it also, of course, exfoliates. So I find that as I'm aging, my skin's getting a little rougher, especially on my legs, and drier. So I'm just using this brushing to help eliminate that. I remember back in the 80s when I used to be a real weightlifter and gym goer, we used to have stretch classes at the end of all of the aerobics classes through the day. The last class was always a stretch class, and my goodness, an hour of deep stretching, nothing like it. I don't generally have a spare hour to do deep stretching, but I do try to get in 10 to 30 minutes of yoga every morning, and I always awake and stretch. I do full body stretches from the top of my head to my toes, and I spend a good minute or two doing that every single morning. And I also do lots of spine stretching. I do twists, I do leaning, I do all sorts of things. I always do that before bed. I had 2 frozen shoulders last year because of my work as an illustrator, and I was in terrible pain. It was just the most revolting experience. So I always do full rotations of my shoulders, and that really helps, get that blood flowing again, which is so important. I've already mentioned meditation, but of course meditation is that beautiful de-stressor that helps the skin truly glow. Oh, another thing that I have started doing, I don't know if you follow this fellow on YouTube. His name is Wim Hof, and he's a breathing expert. He's unbelievable, and he's like one of these people who just found, one of the keys to youth. And he takes all these cold baths and showers and things, and he's obsessed with it. And I've started doing that as well. I will do a full shower maybe once a week, and staying under there for at least a minute is just incredibly good for the skin, good for your heart, good for your lungs, good for everything, good for the mind. And then every time I take a shower, I will finish off with freezing cold water from my belly all the way down to my feet. So I'll just stand under that for about a minute, and I'll just turn, and I'll just get all that blood flowing on my legs, because my legs are my problem area. So I do that every single time I shower to finish off. Another thing I do has to do with this headband. So I talked in my last video about, they say that you either wrinkle or sag, and I'm a sagger. And because I spend a lot of time on a device or at a computer, I do a lot of my illustrating on my iPad. So I'm sort of looking down, I'm laying down and looking forward, and I've always got my neck forward. So there's several exercises that I'm doing to help combat this drop here. And one of them is to simply bring the head back and hold it. And what that does is it totally tones the muscles around the neck, and it relieves a lot of strain on the back of the neck from leaning forward all the time. So you can see if I turn to the side, I'm always like this, so I literally just sit up straight and then pull my head back in like this. See, if you're getting a bit of a double chin, that's a good thing, you know, and you just hold it. Also, of course, neck rolls are really important to help tone the skin under the neck. And then the other thing that I do, now this is my own invention, I didn't get it from anyone else, is I use a headband and I just put it under my chin like this. So when I'm, don't tell anyone I do this, it's really embarrassing. So when I'm waking in the morning and I'm checking through my social media, or when I'm on the couch at night illustrating, I will put this here just to counteract the dropping of underneath the chin here. You might remember Ally McBeal, and one of the characters on there created a face bra, and I thought it was just the best thing ever. I still remember it. So that's just what I do in the secret hidey hole of my own life every time I'm on a device. One of the things that will really aid you is yellowing teeth. I drink a heck of a lot of coffee. It's my vice at the moment. I'm hoping to have a break in about a year's time from my work. Can't complain. But I am noticing that my teeth have been yellowing of late because I'm drinking so much coffee and tea. So what I do is I use one of those just from the regular chemist or supermarket, one of those teeth whiteners. Just one of these. I'm not going to show you the brand of this because this was an expensive one I bought and I didn't think it made even half as much difference as the one I just got at Woolies. So yeah, you just press the button and the blue light comes on, and you just sit for 10 minutes with this stuff on your teeth, and I probably do that 3 times a week. You're not meant to drink coffee and tea when you use it because it counteracts the effects, but I don't care. I think I'm keeping it relatively at bay. And if you have deep staining, I would really recommend just having your teeth whitened through the dentist. It's not cheap, but it makes such a great difference to how you look and feel about your smile. And lastly, I've just ordered a new face, and I have been wanting to try it for quite a while. I really do believe in electro frequencies and what they can do for the underlying layers of the skin, and Trini Woodall was using one, and they had the mini on sale recently, so I have requested one for Christmas. I will let you know how that goes. And an update on my microneedling. I have noticed a huge difference in the texture and tone of my skin and the luminosity of my skin. I'm so happy with it. I'm also using it under my neck, and I'm getting braver. I'm pushing a little firmer and going over the same spots more, and I really do highly recommend it. I've been delighted with the effects of microneedling. And my plans for the future are to have Botox. I want to get it in my forehead. I have, you know, I'm always raising my eyebrows, so I do have deep lines on my forehead. They have improved since I've started using retinol, and yeah, and just changing up my routine has really made a difference. But I would like to try it and see how it looks and how it goes, and then maybe down the track I'll try other areas for Botox, maybe my butt. And then I've had good reports about laser treatment as well. I'm a little skeptical in some ways, but I've heard friends talk about it and say how great it is. So I'm going to look into the various types, and I'll probably invest in that next year, and I'll let you know how that goes. And also the light therapy masks. I saw them again. Trini was using them and she swears by them, and I would like to give those a go, but that'll probably be for next Christmas. I might invest in one. Okay, so that's a rundown of what I do externally. I'm sure I've forgotten something, and if I have, I'll put it in the notes. I hope that this inspires you to try something new. I don't know whether you do some of this stuff already and whether it's worked for you, and if it has, please leave a comment below and let everyone else know your experiences. Okay, so that's it for now. I will come back soon with part 3, and that will just be on what I put inside my body, inside my mouth, to make my skin shine. And I've learned a few things over the years as well. Would love to hear your thoughts on all of this, and as ever, I'm sending my love for great skin.